What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel here. Today is a very special day. It's going to be a special video because it is May the 4th. That's right, it is Star Wars Day, and we are going to be celebrating here by ranking all of the Star Wars films. And these are special films that have not only changed pop culture, but have changed the world. They are very, very special movies. They have done so much for cinema. So we're going to talk about all of them here on the channel, and join me down below and let me know what your rankings are of these films. So let's get right into it. Alright, so before I start, I just want to say right off the bat, this is my list, my opinions. My list is not the right list, it's just mine, but let me know again down below your list. I want to also say I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. Like, I don't know so much of like the lore, or I don't remember all the details from the movies. I haven't seen some of them in a while, but I'm just going to give you my ranking on how I remember them and on which ones I like the most. I'll talk about a little bit more than the ones I don't like as much. So let's get started with number 11, and that is Attack of the Clones. Now, this is a film that I've only seen once because I sadly just could not get into it. This was not my cup of tea by any means. I just felt this film was way longer than it had to be. It was a convoluted mess. First of all, the CGI did take me out of the film for sure. Just how the clones were, I just felt it was so overdone. It didn't feel real to me. Count Dooku, played by a brilliant Christopher Lee, was a wasted kind of villain. Grievous just didn't work for me. The dialogue in here was not good at all. This is where the sand scene comes in, with the sand feeling rough, and his Padme relationship. I didn't feel that love story at all. The Obi-Wan connection here, trying to train young Anakin Skywalker, Yoda, Mace Windu, all of that just didn't work for me whatsoever. So that's why Attack of the Clones comes in at number 11. And number 10, we have The Phantom Menace. This is a film that I can enjoy for what it is, however, one that I don't want to go back and revisit as much. I do love Liam Neeson in here as Qui-Gon. I think he played it brilliantly, and I wish we had more time with him as well in the universe. And also, Darth Maul is in this film, and he is not in it as much as he should be, because his entrance when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, a young Obi-Wan, fight off against Darth Maul. I love that lightsaber battle. It's brilliant. The choreography of it is stunning. So that's definitely my favorite part of the film. And young Anakin, the actor, whoever it is, forgot the name, but he did a brilliant job in here. And it was really cool to see Anakin, as a child, getting raised up through the eyes of Qui-Gon, and then Qui-Gon telling Obi-Wan to train Anakin. So it was very cool to see that relationship. However, the story was a little lackluster. Jar Jar Binks in here became pretty annoying to me. So that, unfortunately, a lot of the negatives did outweigh the positives. So Phantom Menace comes in at number 10. At number 9, we have Rise of Skywalker. This film was just a disappointment. It did not work for me at all. The whole Palpatine storyline, the cloning of Snoke, what a waste of time, and just a convoluted mess. This is where Disney failed on not writing the story of what this trilogy was going to be before they shot the first one. They should have known what all these three films were going to be about. They did not, and you can tell that here. J.J. Abrams came back trying to save this one. It just didn't work. Finn was wasted in this film. I love the character of Rey, but I hate where they went with her in the story, and I hate the relationship between Kylo and Rey, and that is just doesn't make sense. Leia was supposed to be the center of this film, I know. And sadly, Carrie Fisher passed away before they filmed this, so that couldn't be done. I'm glad she's in here the way she is, because I love Leia and I love Carrie Fisher. That's probably my best positive of the film, but sadly, this film just wrecked Star Wars for me as a fan, and I think that's why a lot of fans are skeptical of Lucasfilm now, is because of how terrible Rise of Skywalker was. So that's why it comes in at number 9. Number 8, we have Solo. Solo, a Star Wars story. This is a story that did not need to be told, but I guess you can say that about every movie. And this is no fault of Alden Ehrenreich, who played Han Solo. I actually think he did a fantastic job. I just think the story was lackluster, along with the villain played by Paul Bettany. The Woody Harrelson character I wanted to like, I didn't really fall in love with. I did not buy the relationship between Solo and Emily Clark's character at all in this film. It just didn't do it for me. It just felt kind of like a waste of time. Donald Glover in here as Lando was actually pretty damn good. That was probably the best part of this movie. The relationship between though Chewie and Han Solo and how that actually came to be. I kind of like how they went into that, and then actually, I actually like that. It's a huge positive for me in the film and one of my favorite parts. However, with that being said, it's still not a film I want to go back and revisit that much. So Solo comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have the last prequels, Revenge of the Sith. Now, I know a lot of people actually in my life think that this is the best Star Wars film ever. I definitely do not agree. However, I can enjoy watching this prequel film, and it is one that I will actually go back and rewatch. I like how you see Vader come to be. You see Anakin no longer being Anakin. You see that moment where he chooses the path of the dark side. Very good, very brilliant, very brilliantly portrayed by Hayden Christensen for sure. The acting here by him is great. Obi-Wan, of course, Ewan McGregor did an amazing job here, and I will say their lightsaber battle, it is probably one of the best that I've seen. I do think it's very good. The CGI here was definitely more tolerable than it was in the past two prequel films. Yoda's character in here is very good. I like his fight against Palpatine here, and how Palpatine actually comes to be, and the skin and everything like that, and how Vader is chopped off, the building of the suit and everything like that. Very good here. I actually bought the relationship between Padme and Anakin here. I thought that was done really well. So that's why I actually do like watching Revenge of the Sith. It comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is a film that definitely divided the fan base for sure. Rian Johnson's take was not well liked by some fans. However, for me, I did like it more than I did not. I would give it a thumbs up and a thumbs up, thumbs down world. However, I did not like, how everybody was separated. I did not like some of the new characters. For example, Rose, I felt did not need to be in here at all. I didn't like when her and Finn went out onto this separate adventure onto this other planet where they ran into Benicio del Toro's character. I thought that whole storyline was complete garbage. Did not need to be in here at all. I liked what they did with kind of Luke using the Force here in this movie, though. I did enjoy that. I thought it was a unique take in it and actually worked for me. However, I do wish Luke didn't go out in the way that he did. I like the relationship between Luke and Leia here. And Kylo as the villain, I'd say this is probably one of the best we see him as. Did buy him. This was a lot of rage coming from him and trying to prove to Snoke that he was not turning to the light. But Snoke did not work for me really in this film, and I thought that was kind of a weak character. And the whole storyline of Snoke in this franchise is just garbage. So, Last Jedi, number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is what brought Star Wars back, the first film Disney did, and it worked for me. A lot of people say it's a copycat of A New Hope. While I agree on some parts of that, I do think that it is still very, very good. It's enjoyable, and it's a fun film for me. I can pop it on, and it's great. It also has one of the best posters, I think, in Star Wars history of all time. I love the poster. This film is great. We see Harrison Ford back as Han Solo, and this is also where he dies as Han Solo. The gripe I had about his death is you went out to that bridge and you really didn't think your son was going to kill you. But, maybe being a father, it clouds the judgment there. But I loved his character being back. Chewie, him coming back to the Millennium Falcon, that scene is perfect. I definitely love it. And I love the character of Finn here. Being from a stormtrooper, not wanting to do that anymore, deciding to join the Resistance. I wish they expanded on that more. But I love the base and the storyline of his character and his relationship with Poe Dameron. I love Poe, the character of Poe, played by Oscar Isaac. One of my favorites, and brilliant romance between the two of them. So, Force Awakens comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Star Wars Return of the Jedi, the conclusion to the original trilogy. A fantastic film still, but the conclusion is a little weak in my mind. However, it probably has the best fight scene, I would say, at the end of this film. I like how all the ships came at the end of this film. When we have Luke versus really Palpatine, and then Vader deciding to sacrifice his life for his son, having that moment, father and son moment, very emotional, powerful, and a huge character moment for Vader, the baddest villain of all time. Choosing light in the end and choosing to save his son. I think that's a great story arc, one I didn't see coming when I first saw it, and I think one that maybe some other people who saw the film right when it came out in '83 didn't see coming either. So I think that's why I do love this film so much, is because of that decision that they made with Vader. The Ewoks, I love the Ewoks. I think it's great. Chewie, just the battle on Endor itself, I really enjoy watching. So this is a great time, I still think, even though I think it's the weakest of the original trilogy. So that is number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Rogue One. I know this may be high for some people, but I really do love this movie. I love that it is not focused on Jedi, lightsaber, your typical Star Wars movie. That's not Rogue One. Rogue One is so great because of how different it is from the traditional Star Wars movie, and it is something that I think revitalized the franchise when it needed it. It gave us new blood, and I love that. We get these new characters that we don't see again, but you feel that emotional connection to these characters even when they pass on because of how great the character building is in this film. Of course, we see Andor, in the series Andor, we see Cassian Andor, but that's before Rogue One, and it's going to be leading all the way up. And then I think from where at least season 1 of Andor left off, it just makes me love Rogue One even more because I can understand the character of Cassian Andor better. And that is what I love. And I also loved in this movie K2SO, one of my favorite droids for sure. He brings the comedy and the heart as well in this movie, and I think that is done brilliantly. My favorite, though, is one of the best villains in Star Wars, I believe, and his downfall is also great too. Just how he portrays that character, brilliant. The writing here, I think, is really well done, and the character of Jyn Erso is amazing. Saw Gerrera in here is great. I love everything about Rogue One, and that Darth Vader scene, one of the best scenes in Star Wars, automatically, when I saw it. And that gave me such an adrenaline rush. I was on the edge of my seat that whole time. It was amazing. One of my favorite scenes to just rewatch over and over and over again. So, Rogue One at number 3 for sure. Coming in at number 2, we have Star Wars A New Hope. I love, love, love the introduction we get of our characters in this film. It's probably my favorite part. We see Luke, Leia, as a badass, by the way. Leia is not a damsel in distress, okay? She is the one who probably saves the men more than the men save her, 100%. She is somebody I definitely want on my team. She is played by Carrie Fisher brilliantly in this film. She's my favorite character in this film by far. So I love, love, love our introduction of Leia. Han, I mean, come on. When this came out for my dad, he wanted to be like Han Solo. He loved Harrison Ford. Definitely one of my favorite characters by far in Star Wars. And I think the introduction of here, how we see him and Chewie, and Luke, by the way, taken as just the farm boy, and then he ends up being one of the best Jedi of all time. Just the beginning of the story arc here, I think, is done really, really well. George Lucas did do a phenomenal job setting up this entire saga. And Obi-Wan Kenobi in here, I absolutely loved. The moment you get when he decides to let Vader kill him because he trusts Luke enough to defeat Vader and the Empire on his own is brilliant. Star Wars A New Hope, number 2. And of course, moving on to my number 1 is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. The bad guys win in this movie, and I love every single part of it. Wow. This is where you see Vader, and you're like, yeah, this guy's definitely the best villain of all time. I mean, he's just a badass. He really is. You don't want to get on his bad side. He'll kill you. Even if you're on his side and you mess up, yeah, he won't give you a second chance. You're done for. I love it. I love everything about this movie. Lando Calrissian in this film, amazing. Billy D. Williams plays him brilliantly. In the betrayal, when he betrays them, when they come to his planet and Darth Vader is sitting there right at that table, I love that scene for sure. But how it starts off, the battle on Hoth, one of the best openings in Star Wars for sure. My favorite planet in Star Wars, just how that's all done is brilliant. I love it. And I love, like I said, the bad guys win. I love it. The score in this movie, I know I haven't mentioned the score at all in this ranking. It's all done by John Williams, who is fantastic, the best to ever do it. But the score in Empire is my favorite one out of all of these movies. And you really can notice it here, and it makes you feel like you're a part of the world, you're in it, which only elevates this film even more. This film elevates the genre, and I consider it to be one of the best films of all time. So, I mean, there's nothing to hate about Empire in my mind, and I think it's known throughout the universe that it's definitely at least one of the best films, but I think a lot of Star Wars fans will agree that it's the best films of all time. So, with that being said, that will do it for me, guys, on my Star Wars ranking, but please join me down below. Let me know your thoughts on it. I really want to hear it. Again, I am not like the biggest Star Wars fan. I don't know all the lore, but I know enough to present my ranking and my thoughts on it, so please join me below to do that. On the channel here, I want to give a quick update. We are going to be doing a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy coverage here this weekend. Tomorrow, actually. Well, no, I posted this on the 4th. So, yeah, today I will be watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and I will give my out-of-theater reaction. On Friday, I will post a non-spoiler review. And then on Saturday, I will post a spoiler review. And on Sunday, I will do a ranking video of all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films. So, with that being said, guys, if that sounds interesting, be sure to subscribe and stick around for that and share this channel to anybody who loves entertainment content. So, with that being said, everybody, I'm Tyson Honecker, and until next time, I'll catch you on the next one.